to all of you who are here. And today I thought we could talk a little bit about kindness, and what we all need in this world is a little more kindness. And I know personally, this is a time in our lives where we can really recommit to the spiritual practice of being responsive rather than reactive, where we can start to recognize our own how do I say, exclusivity in terms of the way we see others, and that we can really work to strengthen the compassion and empathy muscle. I know the last time we talked about the various differences between empathy and compassion and sympathy. And but I just want to review that really quickly. So sympathy is when you know someone is going through something and you respond because it's cerebral. You recognize someone's lost somebody or something's happened, that you can respond, send a sympathy card, or maybe send some flowers. It's very intellectual, cerebral. It's not necessarily a visceral sense that you get. Empathy, for those of us who are highly sensitive people, and actually it's natural for everybody to have a certain amount of empathy. Empathy is when you feel or get a sense of what someone else is experiencing. You can read those subtle clues of their facial expressions. Your insula, the part of the brain that's really tapped in to other people's emotions as well as your own, picks up like an antenna on the cues of somebody going through something. And everybody has a certain amount of empathy. And with mindfulness, you actually develop more empathy because you're more situationally aware. You're more aware of your environment, and you're more apt to become more sensitive. I know many of us who embark on a meditation journey get more sensitive, and that can be a little challenging. We're more sensitive to our own grief. We're more sensitive to the sadness or challenges of others. And so that's why we keep up with the practice, to develop a little bit more resilience and a little bit more the ability to bear witness to what's going on. But then empathy, if you can turn into compassion. It's like taking action. It's not just taking action like a sympathy card, but it's taking action to relieve the other person's suffering. Now, what would that look like? It might look like putting your arm around someone or giving someone a hug, or visiting someone who's lost someone, or making a call, going out of your way to suffer with. Compassion means to suffer with them. It's not that you lose yourself, it's that you are taking action. The difference between empathy and compassion is that action. So today I thought we could talk a little bit about what it's like to have someone take action for you, to explore the kindness of others in your life. Quite often, I think last week we did a loving kindness practice where we're offering kindness and well wishes to ourselves, to people we absolutely love, and to those we don't know so well, and including those difficult people, and then the world. But we, at this point, I thought we could explore the kindness of others and the impact of that on our lives. Before we do that, I also wanted to say that there is an element of kindness, there's an element of spiritual growth that some of us really involve, and we invite, and it's called mudita. I don't know if you've heard of that word. It's a Tibetan Buddhist word, whereas Maitri is the loving kindness. Mudita is a word that reflects sympathetic joy. When somebody somewhere is having a beautiful experience and you hear about it, just like empathy, you relish it too. You feel it too. You're excited for them too. Now, quite often we reserve that sympathetic joy for people we believe and we've deemed deserving of that. But what if you could relish and enjoy somebody else's boon or success, whether you believe they deserve it or not? whether you believe they deserve it or not, whoever that person might be. Think of somebody that maybe drives you crazy. Let's just put it that way. And they end up having some success. Our spiritual practice with mudita would be that, yes, okay, because I appreciate our common humanity and I appreciate that there's enough for everybody, I can appreciate their success too. This is I have to say, an advanced practice, because some of us get, there's a couple things that happen. One can be that you feel as if, well, if they get it, there's not enough for me. That can be an old tape that you play. And another is, well, why should they get that? They don't deserve it in my eyes. So this is a spiritual practice of sympathetic joy. And I love to use that as a litmus test for how I'm doing. So I'm going to invite you to use that. Pay attention to that as you go through your days between now and next week. Okay, so meditation, let's do that. What is it? It can be a whole variety of things, but today we're going to be practicing a simple, silent meditation for about 20 minutes. And as many of you know, the 5 essentials are: 1, it's okay to have thoughts during this practice and be distracted. Your job is to come back again and again and again. Secondly, be really kind to yourself. Do not spend any amount of this time together beating yourself up. Third, let go of expectations. I don't even know what's going to happen next, so you can't possibly know. And let's just be open to what's going on and resist nothing and welcome everything, even if it's a sound in the environment or rumbling tummy. Fourth, don't try to have a certain experience. Don't force a feeling. That is what's called mood making. And that is the opposite of enlightenment, is to pretend you feel something you don't. So we're just going to play with this instead. And lastly, stick with the whole practice. As I said, we'll be doing it about 20 minutes. So sit comfortably, maybe close your eyes or gaze softly toward the floor. Throughout this practice, you'll want to get as comfortable as you can wherever you're seated. And yes, you can move. Yes, you can open your eyes. Yes, you can scratch an itch. Yes, you can do whatever feels good. But the idea is to sit relatively still with the eyes closed. So let's begin. And I like to begin every meditation with mindfulness, meaning being completely aware of what's going on while it's happening. So let's close the eyes, deepen the breath a little bit, breathing in softly, but deeply in and out through the nose. Three long, slow, deep breaths at your own pace, breathing in softly and deeply, letting it out fully and slowly. And after 3 long breaths, you can let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. As you sit here, begin to welcome everything that you hear. Welcoming sounds near and far. Notice how some sounds are far away while others are close by. welcoming the landscape of sounds, resisting nothing, putting the intellect aside, noticing the soundscape and the textures, how some sounds arise from the silence and return to the silence. And now turn your attention to your body, to the felt sense of sitting. Feeling where your feet may be meeting the ground, or your rear on the chair. Letting go of any tension in your belly and your chest. Your face, lowering your shoulders. Inviting your whole body to soften. In whatever area you bring your attention to, imagine simply loving it. Loving your feet, your knees, your hands and your thighs. Your spine, your belly, your heart and your lungs, and that beautiful face. And draw your attention now to your breath, letting it be natural, though it can change as it gets faster or slower, deeper or shallower. Noticing the subtleties of the breath and how the body responds to the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps you notice the pauses between each breath. Letting your breath charm your attention. We'll sit with the breath awareness practice for just a little while longer. You might silently say to yourself, in and out with each breath. Everything is as it should be right now. There's no need to struggle against this moment. And now, let's begin to reflect on the kindness of others. Reflect on this past week or over the weekend. And consider what people have done for you in both large and small ways. Whether it was someone you met in the street, a grocery clerk, someone at a restaurant, a friend. Consider, if you will, that on some level you are surrounded by loving kindness. And as we've said, what you look for, you will find. Recalling the acts of service, the kindnesses, the passing moments, even a smile over this past week. Now, Bring your attention to a specific friend or family member and recall the good they have done, the love they have shown, the kindness they have given toward you. Reflect on the way it moved you or created a sense of safety in you. Allow that feeling of being loved to arise again in your heart. Imagine it filling your heart up as you draw your attention now to your heart center. Feeling full as you inhale and exhale, imagining that the breath is moving in and out from the heart center. And as you feel this currency of love, allow your own heart to open and be this love now. Maybe you feel it in your body. Maybe you see it in your mind's eye. Maybe you get a sense of it. As you continue your heart-centered breath, imagine your love radiating from you as you just sit here. You're a dynamic force of love that doesn't just begin and end at your skin. And to everyone you consider or think of, imagine that this love flows out from you to your friends or family or neighbors. You're like a love beam. Love is a way of being. Love is your true nature. If thoughts arise that contradict that, simply come back to the heart-centered breath, relaxing into this moment as we sit together for another few minutes. Imagine breathing in and breathing out love. Imagine breathing in and breathing out kindness. Imagine breathing in and breathing out compassion. I'm going to sound the chime now. I invite you to keep your eyes closed. I invite you to take the perspective today that everyone and everything is serving to awaken you to love. Everyone, every activity, so vast, maybe difficult to imagine, but is awakening each and every one of us to love. As you sit here with your eyes closed, you might deepen your breath a little. Maybe you make a commitment to be on the lookout for the ways that life loves you. I like to make a commitment to exhale only love. When you feel like you'd like to open your eyes, you can do that or take some deeper breaths. Whenever you feel like you'd like to open them all the way, you can do that. Thank you for practicing with me today. I bow to the love that lives through you as you, that lives through me as me, and lives through every living being, whether they know it or not. Exhaling only love. I think I've probably shown you this before, but it is something that is on my desk that I live with. I have a live with a lot of little sayings here, but this one really refers to speech. You know, sometimes I get, like everybody else, the full gamut of emotions, and but yet I take responsibility for them. But the exhaling only love what I say, what I write, I really try to be compassionate, empathetic, understanding, practice mudita, equanimity, loving kindness. And it's just really a practice every single minute of every single day. And when we've talked before about what you look for, you will find. So one thing I like to look for is the ways in which this world is a friendly place, how people are serving me all the time, whether it's people making my phone work, or my lights turn on, or the water company that keeps the water flowing, or whether it's the people growing the vegetables, or whatever it may be. And then those more overt acts of service, someone just saying, I really want to help you. And just really being on the lookout for that, because I know when stress, as we're all going through it these days, becomes overwhelming, the world becomes less of a friendly place. We've talked a lot about this in the past, about what you look for, you will find, and minimizing your stress will help you to see everything's happening for you, whether you like it or not, rather than to you. And it's really our responsibility to take that shift in perspective. And I think for many of us, it has to be conscious that we make that shift, because it can be an unconscious buildup of stress that starts to make us feel adversarial towards others. And so just to come back here and recognizing our common humanity, everybody's trying to do the best they can. And not everybody has a big open mind and open heart like you do. And they still are doing the best they can. But I think this is really a practice that we can do, not just in meditation, but in every single moment of every single day. Celebrate others' successes and happiness, maintain that equanimity, and be love now, as Ram Dass said in his latest, one of his later books after Be Here Now, he wrote, be love now. You know, when people say, what would love do? And not sappy love, not gooey love, but what would love look like? What would that true love look like? So thank you for joining me today. We're going to open it up for a discussion. I see people are writing in the chat. I am going to stop recording, and hopefully you can join us next time live. See if we can do that.